Happy Sunday and welcome everyone to episode 49 of Video Game Club. As always, I am your host Tyler, and I have with me today a true Kel hater, Austin.
Hey, how's it going?
And it would not be a Video Game Club episode without the Omori lore master herself, Mox.
No, hello.
It's been a couple weeks. It's been 4 weeks because we had to skip one because I was out of town, traveling, out and about. How is everyone doing? Mox, how have you been?
Excellent. I've been working through Rune Factory 5. Just can't get enough of it. I just love Rune Factory. I need a 6 after I finish this one.
My gosh, they will probably make one. They made that weird like Deadcraft game. It's like a marvelous game as well, and it's like a weird like zombie type Rune Factory-esque game, but like with a really weird art style. So, I don't know. I played the demo. It was god awful.
I cannot imagine that.
Austin, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I started up a new job this week, and
Congratulations.
very glad to be out of my old one. Thank you so much. I've been crazy busy, but especially prepping for maybe in 3 months. But
Ooh.
everything's good. Life is good.
I can't wait for the newest member of the Video Game Club family. Can't wait for him to get on the mic. So besides Omori, I was traveling a lot, and Omori is not on Switch yet, which is really frustrating. So I started up Shin Megami Tensei 5 on Switch. It was on sale, so I picked it up.
Oh.
It's pretty good. I really like it. And then I have been playing a ton of Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm about 14 hours in, and I absolutely love that game. I really do. I really hope they make like a sequel or something, because it's just so good. It's like scary, but not like too scary. It's like got this like supernatural, I don't know, horror element to it.
You make me want to play it, but it just sounds so spooky and scary and difficult.
It's not difficult at all, actually. It's really not. And it has like a really cool like leveling up. So it's not that detailed or anything, but it's like pretty straightforward, and it's like kind of, it's like very much like a comfort game for me right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
So, for example, every time that you heal yourself, your max health increases
Yes.
permanently.
Wow.
And that's like one of my favorite mechanics in that game.
It doesn't increase by like a ton,
but still, that means like
That's
you're
interesting.
constantly
I have
getting
to heal.
a little stronger.
Yeah, therefore, yeah. There's like you get to just roam around Japan, which is really cool. Tokyo specifically, obviously, but you get to like roam around, and there's like all kinds of like little like what are the ghosts called? Yokai and stuff.
Mhm.
And it has like a big database of them, and you can like read about them, and the lore is so cool, and it's yeah. Highly, highly, highly recommend Ghostwire Tokyo. Mox, you said you've been playing Rune Factory 5. Anything else?
No, that's it. That's all. That's enough. That fills my life.
Yeah, that and work. It's pretty much
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay, but Rune Factory 5, there's like some quality of life changes over Rune Factory 4 special, but then other ones that are missing, and it's like, why? But then I always get mad. I'm like, the 3D lags, and it's, I don't know. There's like, I get annoyed that it's like kind of choppy frame rate. I mean, on a Switch, it's not going to be the best, but it's like, why is it choppy?
It's coming to
But
PC.
I know that, like, but I just love sitting down and playing it.
Get it on your Steam Deck.
I know, we'll have to wait for all these things to happen.
You probably will play it on your Steam Deck, though, I bet you. If it's like runs well and everything. I can see you doing it. I can see you starting over.
Ugh, don't tempt me.
Austin, what have you been playing besides Omori?
I have been playing the Ni no Kuni MMO.
Oh yeah, me too. I forgot about that. Crossworlds?
Yeah. And that's been interesting. I kind of hit a bit of a wall in it, but I've also been playing a lot of garbage, trying to like clean out some of my my Steam library. So last night I just played like a ton of just really, really awful games.
Can you like give a summary of the Ni no Kuni MMO? Like,
Is
just
it a
for
phone game?
if anyone's interested in trying it out. It is a phone game, but it also has a PC client as well.
Oh.
Yep. So it's very pretty. It's a very
Ooh.
pretty looking game, both on phone and on PC. Um, After the tutorial, it's kind of an idle game.
Yeah.
So you can be like, okay, I want to tap on, I want to do this quest. You tap the quest, and your character will. You can go there and do it on your own. It's just your character will take a pretty efficient route to get there, and then go fight the things on their own,
And then leave once they're done too, which is really cool.
Yeah, and if you've got like your daily quests, they'll just automatically be like, okay, I'm gonna go do the next nearest daily quest. And I discovered after several hours that it's a blockchain game.
What?
So like, there's a currency in the game that you can earn that you can convert to a blockchain token, which you can then convert to a different blockchain token, which you can then convert to yet another different blockchain token, and that's one that you can use on like 2 different exchanges if you want to get actual money out of it.
That's bizarre.
I think we did the
Or if
math, and it was like after like so many hours, you'll get like $3 or something.
Well, so initially it was like the first few days when it opened up, you could make some decent money out of it, and
Yeah.
very quickly, it's the exchange rate has gone down, both like for the monetary value of the final token, as well as like the conversion rate of the tokens along the way. It's gotten very heavily against you, and it requires you to like put some money in to do part of the conversion. It's bizarre. So I probably won't play around with any of that, but it's a fun little idle game that's very pretty.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good explanation. Were you wanting to talk about anything else? Sorry, I was like, tell us about Crossworlds, Austin.
No, other than that, I just have been playing some garbage out of my Steam library.
Yeah. Now, before we get started talking about Omori, just as a reminder, this is Video Game Club. We're usually every 2 weeks. I say usually because we skipped an episode, but usually every 2 weeks we discuss a game voted on by our wonderful friends in the Bombchu Discord and discuss that game right here on twitch.tv/BombchuTV. And if you can't catch us live, don't worry. You can find us on YouTube and all major podcast services. And if you appreciate what you're hearing, please consider subscribing, rating, commenting, all those fun things. Just let us know. And give us some recommendations for Video Game Club as well. We love those. It helps get them nominations in and let the people vote. And come to the Discord so you can vote as well. The nominations for this episode were Bug Snacks, Omori, and Return of the Obra Dinn. And Omori won, obviously, so we're going to talk about that. But before jumping in, just as a warning to everyone, this game does deal with some tough, sensitive topics. And it may be tough at times, so I don't know. I just wanted to make sure, like, y'all know that it has like a warning when you start it up, right? It deals with like depression, other things. So just an FYI, if you're one of those that want to avoid topics like that. Okay, so Omori, it's a 2D top-down RPG developed by Amocat. Amocat's like a person, like an individual, and also a company now as well. It consists of 2 programmers, 2 like artists, designers, and 2 composers. To my knowledge, this is the only project that they've worked on. Currently, they're working on a console port to Switch and PlayStation. And I saw on Twitter yesterday that it may have some additional content as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what. I imagine it's going to be like some little Easter eggs here and there or something. I don't know. But I also know that it got delayed a little bit because they were going to fix like some bugs that they found as well while porting it. The game took 6.5 years roughly to make, and it was a webcomic that was on like a Tumblr blog, I think, or something first. And it was going to be translated to like a graphic novel, but they landed on a video game.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, agree. I think they reached more people, probably.
Yeah.
It was published by PlaySim. PlaySim was founded in 2011, based in Osaka and Tokyo. They published Mamadora, Reverie Under the Moonlight.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
D4, Dark Dreams Don't Die. Yume Nikki. I haven't played it, but I know it's like really popular.
Mm-hmm.
Bright Memory Infinite. And 2 titles we've played for Video
Oh
Game
my
Club
goodness.
already. Any guesses?
No.
I'm gonna guess Toho Luna Nights.
That's one.
Wow.
It's the second one.
And what else would we have played that's their style?
It's a game that no one really liked except Mox, I think. Night
I'm
in the
blank.
Woods.
I didn't like that game.
Oh,
No,
you
she
also didn't like
I would,
it? Okay,
yes,
it's a
I
game
would
that
like
everybody
the,
didn't like.
yeah, I would like the record remended, please.
I'm so sorry, Mox. The game was released on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2020, on PC and Mac, and it is arriving June 17th on Switch and PS4.
We did it just too soon. I'm
I
so sorry.
I know. I was really bummed because I was on a flight and I was like, well, I could play Omori if it would have been a little, yeah.
Honestly, I think I'll probably play it again when it comes out on Switch.
For that bonus content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sold me.
It's also announced that it's going to come to Xbox at some point, but no release date yet. And there was a 3DS port actually, but it was part of a Kickstarter, but it was canceled, unfortunately.
Oh,
What?
Yeah. It was made in RPG Maker. I don't know which version specifically, but I do know that I read like halfway through they had to like change which RPG Maker engine they were using. But yeah. So what was going on in 2020 in gaming? We had the launch of the current gen. People keep saying like next gen, I guess new gen consoles, the Xbox Series X and S, the PS5. We had the Atari VCS,
ugh.
the Quest 2, and the Super Mario Game & Watch Color thing. That's fun. That's
What?
What is that?
Game and Watch Color?
the Super Mario Game & Watch, the one that with the color screen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. I was when you say Game and Watch, I was thinking of okay.
You
Got
own
it.
one, Austin.
Yeah, I own one. I beat both games on it.
Yeah. Some games that came out, of course, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and with that came Doom Eternal,
Ugh.
Half-Life Alyx, Cyberpunk 2077, and many others. I don't think a game that we played for Video Game Club yet came out in 2020. I think it's possible that like the version of Dragon Quest that I played came out in 2020. But besides that, I don't think anything.
I think that was out in 2019.
I think the original game was 2019. Did S come out in 20?
I think S was already out.
Oh, okay.
At least it was in Japan because I took a trip to Japan in 2019 and it was just everywhere. Everywhere.
I mean, it's a good game.
I know, but like it was.
And it's
So, like,
Japan and Dragon Quest.
Yeah, they're like the convenience store right next to our hotel was completely themed around Dragon Quest.
That's so cool.
For the release. So like when you would walk into the door, the doors would slide open. They'd play the sound effect of you like entering the doorway and like the 8-bit style.
Yep.
All sorts of stuff like that.
That game.
That's the only reason I strongly remember that version was 2019.
We really should play that third act at some point because I've been following someone on Twitter who's been playing through it, and they're at that third act, and
Really?
they're like, the game changes. It's different.
All right.
Yeah.
We really should, as a group, play it. So, Omori, how did it review? Extremely positive on Steam, like overwhelmingly positive, like one of the highest rated games on Steam, probably.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Of all the games?
it's like 98% positive or something crazy like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Some things that some critics had to say. Some people really like the combat and the gameplay. People adored the story. They thought it was a great explanation of like emotions and like some serious topics, and it was told in like a really good way. The writing and tone were wonderful, and the art direction. Some things that people didn't like were the combat and gameplay. People were quite torn on it, and I think we're torn as well. So we'll get there. And another thing is that some people thought sometimes it was a little too dark, but I mean that's kind of the game. Like that's kind of what you're getting into. So I don't know. All right, it is discussion time. Like before, we're gonna cover 6 little points here. We're gonna talk about the gameplay, the visuals, the audio, the controls and interface, performance, and then lastly, we'll talk about the story. When we get to the story, I'll be sure to put on the spoilers tag so we can freely talk about it in detail, or as much detail as we want. So
All of it.
let's talk about the gameplay. So would you guys say that this is an open-ish world game?
Yeah, Yeah, because you can go anywhere most of the time.
Yeah. That's also how I feel. It was hard to I was trying to find out a good way to explain it because it's not closed, but it's not like super open either. It's kind of,
Yeah, like funneled.
Yeah, you're directed a lot of the time. Yeah, funneled.
Yeah, you get funneled. Yeah. But yeah, it's an openish. You explore in this openish world, top-down perspective. It's got 2D or turn-based combat. That's heavily inspired by JRPGs. You control 4 different characters, each with unique abilities in the overworld, and then also they have unique like combat skills as well. Did you guys have a favorite character that's not Omori?
He was mine.
Can't pick sad boy Omori.
I liked how he fought though.
I don't need to.
Probably Kel then, I guess.
What? all right. Well, we're gonna have you dive more into that here in a second. What about you, Austin?
If I was like Aubrey I found to be the most useful in the overworld, and she also could do good damage during fights.
Yeah. So there's Omori. He in the overworld can cut things with a knife, and his combat is a bunch of things, but like he's basically an overall sad boy. I feel like he can make himself sad and then stab in combat. Did you use his happy skills, Mox, more? Or?
Well, as I got higher levels, different characters unlocked different skills that allowed them to make everybody in the party a certain
right. Emotion.
So it changed over time. That's why that's why I like this combat.
So that's interesting. I kind of stuck with one emotion, like for each person, kind of.
Oh, really?
In most situations, yeah. What about you, Austin? Were you like changing emotions quite a lot, and did you evolve over time?
For the first half, I was doing what you were doing, where it was like I'd make them sad, I'd stab. Halfway through the game, I was trying to grind because I was having trouble, and then I hated the grinding so much. I was like, I'm either not going to finish or something has to change. So I cheated.
How did you cheat?
So there's a website where you can upload RPG Maker save files and change like character stats and stuff like that.
You're kidding.
I increased my party's attack by a bit, and that made it so that I could, because I hated the combat. I hated it. It was really terrible. And once I did that, I had a better time with the game. So I don't like to cheat at games, but I was not going to finish it if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So
you can cheat as much as you would like. No, please cheat. I totally support that.
I'm surprised you didn't cheat, Mox, because you
didn't
usually
need
are
to.
the one to. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
but Mox is smart and knows how to do.
That's true.
Strategic
She's
combat.
big brain. We're over here, small little brain.
If I do turn-based combat, I want to I want to be like brainlessly just being like attack,
like
do the strong thing,
like Dragon Quest,
and yeah, like Dragon Quest,
where it does it for you.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like if I need to grind a little bit, then sure. But also the grinding of this was bad.
Wow.
So yeah. Well, that's Omori. Aubrey, she breaks things with her baseball bat in the overworld, and a lot of her moves are focused on damage and being happy. Kel, he can like hit targets with a slingshot on an elevated platform. It helps you solve a lot of puzzles in the game. And I don't know what he specializes in, but I mainly used him as an item user because he was pretty fast. So he would like act first, typically.
He specializes in not being useful for pretty much anything.
Oh my goodness.
That's also how I felt. So Mox, can you tell us why you liked Kel so much? Like, did you just like him as like a character, or
no, his combat? I'm trying to remember. So I played it 3 months ago, and I played it in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
But he does this ability. It's like a 2 or 3 like build up, and then he attacks, and then he kills everything. And I'm pretty sure it's like because he's fast, you use a skill that makes him fast, and then you use I think it's run and gun, which uses his like agility to kill a target, and so like you combine. I forget what the skills were, but he was my main damage dealer in the end.
Wow.
And all the other characters were support at that time because it's like every third turn he would do most of the damage, like I don't know, 50% of the boss's damage.
My experience
This
was the
is why
exact
Mox is the
opposite of
smart
that.
one.
Yeah, like exact opposite. Like he did
Wow.
almost no damage and just use items.
Oh my goodness.
Then we have Hero. He can charm people, and
Oh, he's
when I was playing with Austin, I actually found a really smart way to use him, and I was really happy about it. So we'll talk about that.
I was just so surprised. I was like, that. There's no way that's gonna work.
And it worked. It was awesome. But Hero's like a big healer type. He can cook and do things that help you heal. There's items and equipment that can be found and purchased throughout the game.
Wait,
Combat.
you didn't say his ability, which is he charms people to do things that they didn't want to do.
I said charm.
I get
Okay, he charms people so that they have to do things that they didn't normally want to do. There you go.
like a what's it called, a conveyor belt to go the opposite direction. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
I think that's
true.
fun.
That was pretty cool.
Except in part of the game.
Yeah. The combat has this like follow-up mechanic in it where like for every time you get hit, this like bar goes up, and you can have each character can choose like another character to follow up their attack, and like they do different things like depending
Based
on
on
which
who they interact with.
Yeah, and that is cool.
I love that.
Like, oh, you did a follow up with Omori. Oh, now Omori's happy.
Well,
stuff like that.
But each person, the order matters too. And it's like all lore based. I'm sorry.
The combat also has like a status effect system that's like based on emotions. So there's happy, which beats angry. Angry beats sad, and sad beats happy. Angry increases your attack but lowers your defense. Sad increases your defense but lowers your speed. And happy increases your speed but lowers your accuracy.
And then there's like elevated versions of those as well, like ecstatic for happy.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Depressed and enraged.
And enraged.
Mhm.
Yep. I mainly use sad. I found it really effective if a boss
Oh
was
my
doing
God.
heavy damage. I would just make everybody sad, and then they would do less damage to my party, and then I was able to stab with Omori.
In the final, I was gonna say the final status is toast.
Yeah,
They're dead.
they're toast. Yeah. Did you guys?
And Aubrey gets a little bow on her toast.
Yeah, that was really cute. Did you guys lean towards a specific emotion, or did you use them like situationally?
Totally situational.
Yeah. Moxie, I feel like you really went deep into this combat system while me and Austin were just like, all right, how do we just make it good enough to get past fights so that we can enjoy the rest of the game?
Well, each boss had a different emotion that it kind of swapped between, and so you had to adapt.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would make bosses different emotions and make my characters different emotions. I will say, making my characters angry using Kel's, I think it's Annoy or Megaphone or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, what's her name? Aubrey can make the enemy happy.
Yep.
So that was a big thing because that does a lot of damage increase.
Anything else you guys want to mention about the gameplay and specifically before we move on to visuals? There's puzzles in the overworld that you solve.
They're fun.
Some of them are really fun. Some of them are kind of I don't know. There's you go to unique biomes, which are really
There's
really
a fast
cool.
travel system.
There is a fast travel system, which is really
Yes.
cool.
It's not very good.
No,
What?
but it's
It's funny.
but it's fun.
It's nice that it's there, and it is funny, but also
There's two.
the
gameplay.
locations are not very helpful.
There's like the real world, and then there's whatever
The dream world.
Oh yeah,
white space.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the mechanics are different between
Space.
those. Like in the dream world,
It's called
like
Headspace.
food heals you,
Is it
but then in the real world, it's like you have to have band-aids and everything works like
real life?
real life.
Like you can't just be stabbing people.
Mm.
For example. Okay, let's talk about the visuals. So 2D top down perspective. I feel like it almost looks like hand drawn. A lot of it.
Mhm. With the ballpoint pen is what it looks like to me.
To me, it looks like colored
And
pencils.
Specifically, like in the dream world, right? Because I think when you're in the real world, the aesthetic kind of changes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would agree. Colored pencils.
but it was very it has a very unique art style. I feel, especially for like an RPG
Yeah.
Maker type game, and I don't know, it's really pretty to look at. A lot of places are really pretty.
Very very colorful and lots of
variety too.
good
Even
colors.
like in the darker areas, like there's lots of variety. Like those doors. Everyone who has beat the game will know what I'm talking about, but those doors had a lot of variety as well, which were really cool.
Yeah. I actually went in expecting the game to be completely black and white because basically I saw the title screen and like a screenshot of the white space.
Yeah.
And I saw it was overwhelmingly positive. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to look at anything else about this game. Just put it on my to-do list. And so I was very surprised to see so much color.
And then that music hit, and you were like,
yeah.
Oh, gosh. Speaking of music, let's move on to the audio. This game has a wonderful soundtrack. Like, just, I would put it like on par with Undertale, personally.
I would put it above Undertale. I'm so sorry to say.
Whoa! Really? Both of you? Okay.
Go ahead.
Like, I love the Undertale soundtrack, but also, if it was like, what do you want to listen to right now? I would pick this one.
For me, Undertale was very samey. The songs varied, but the style was the same throughout the whole game.
True.
Whereas this game had like different styles based on where you were, and the songs.
Very different moods.
Yeah, too. I don't know. We had talked about this. When they were starting after I had already played the entire game in 2 days. They sent a song from the beginning of the game in a chat, and I listened to it, and you just have like having finished the game. I had such like a different memory of the early songs in the game before you knew anything that was happening. It's like an entirely different game. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it is an amazing variety of like happy songs, sad songs. It has like multiple genres of music too in there. The sound effects were also quite funny. I feel like at times, like the squish sound was really funny. It's really good. The OST was done by Slime Girls and this other person that goes by Clover and Sea Life. Austin, you sent me some stuff about Slime Girls, right?
I did.
Yeah, you're a big Slime Girls fan.
So I was very surprised to find out like there's a boss that's Slime Girls, and I was like, I wonder if that's a reference. And then I had to go look it up, and I was like, they worked on the soundtrack, and that blew my mind.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I've been listening to Slime Girls for a few years now.
Mox, did you collect the CDs to get Omori's Jukebox?
I tried to get as many as I could. I didn't get all of them though.
Are those songs unique to like only like they're only on those CDs, or are they like referenced later in the game or something?
No, they're meta.
Okay.
But Toby Fox has a song in this game.
Really?
Yes, one of the CDs has a song he wrote that is like not in a game. I don't think he wrote it for this game, but it's like only in this game.
What? I'm gonna have to look that up after this. That's crazy.
It's fun.
But I think we can all agree that the audio is just chef's kiss. So good.
Yes.
So good.
My only complaint about the audio is when you're getting on and off your boat with the Humphrey section.
Yep.
Just sounds like you're like dropping a deuce into a toilet, splashes back up into your butt. Like God. That is, God, it's a horrible sound. And you have to hear it over and over again.
That did not occur to me. Just saying.
All right, moving on. Controls and interface. I don't know. What'd you guys think of the whole like interface, Mox?
Well, I started playing with it on keyboard. I'm pretty sure, and again, I played it 3 months ago. I didn't want to like erase my first memory of it. It uses like ZX and those stupid keys. I hate when games use that. But I used a controller, and it was excellent.
Did you find yourself using the D-pad on your controller, or did you use? Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think I use my PS5 controller. It just doesn't reliably like move. Like the stick doesn't reliably move where I want it to go for a 4-directional game.
Same.
2D game. I don't know. Why even allow that? I hated that.
Yeah.
The only time I found the stick nice to have or nice to use was there's a part where you have to swim through like a cavern,
Yeah.
and it's like a 1 tile width, and there's a ton of diagonal spots.
You're right.
Where you keep having to go up, right, up, right, up, right, up, and it's just like it was awful on the D-pad. So I swapped over to the joystick for that section. It was like, oh, this is bearable.
And
now.
then you get to go back through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I used a controller. I thought it controlled, pretty great. The only issue I had was when I was going through dialogue, sometimes I would talk to someone again when I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
But that just
Yes.
that tends to happen in RPGs, and it's very hard to get that right. Like when the dialogue is done and stuff like that.
Well, I'm going to interject with Rune Factory 5, which is,
Please
I like
do.
in Rune Factory 5, you can press Y, and it just speeds through the conversation regardless of if you've seen it before or not. Like, and then and Y is not the button you use to activate.
Yep. That's the
like
way to
a
do
chat.
it. That's the way.
Ugh.
That way you can just throw all the text on there for you to read if you want or not. And then you hit A or B or whatever to proceed. Yeah, that's the way. That is definitely the way to do it. I thought the menu system was pretty good. Like, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Like how to equip stuff, how to use items, so how to look at stats, how to look at the map, how to look at this thing called Hangman. I feel like it all was pretty straightforward, and I didn't run into any issues or anything. You guys feel?
My only
Go ahead.
problems were, so like you said, accidentally talking to somebody twice, but also sometimes like, especially during like fights or things like that, there were certain dialogue boxes that just wouldn't go away for a couple of seconds. It was just like, I've read it. Please go away.
You're
I
talking
don't want
about
this anymore.
You're talking about above, like the stuff that's like did
Yeah.
so much damage, huh?
Yeah. Like, especially going back to visit old areas, like everything would still aggro you, and it was just, they were little things to just squash. But the fights just took longer because the dialogue boxes took forever to go through, and it drove me crazy.
Yeah.
And some areas, for some reason, you just couldn't run, which also drove me crazy because they were usually areas where it was like nothing was going on. So I wanted to run even more.
Also, PSA, there is a run button, and I played a big chunk of the game without
you
knowing
played
that.
5 hours of it without
Yes.
running.
Can't you turn it auto run in the settings?
I didn't look. I'm not one
Oh
of
my
those
God,
that goes straight to settings
the first
like you.
thing I
I know.
open is
I know.
settings.
I know you do. I know. You could have told me. Could have told me about run button.
I just assume who doesn't open what monster doesn't check the settings when you first start a game?
Have to
Do you
do a-
read the
well-
manual when you get new things?
No.
No.
Ah!
We'll have to do a.
I only check the graphics settings when I open up a game.
Yeah.
Because everything else, I'm like, you know what? Default's probably going to be best. That's the way the
Oh my god, I
developer
peruse
intended it, right?
every setting, every available one. Toggle if I don't know, like if it's
So-
going to be
I
good
used
or
to
not.
do that,
How long-
but then I started changing things that like really messed up
Yeah.
how things should have been in one experience, and I was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, Mox is
So-
one to read terms of service, probably.
I try to read the ones that I'm like, well, this might actually matter.
Jeez.
They all have arbitration clauses these days, which I don't know if that's
Yeah, they do.
a good thing.
No, definitely not.
Hmm.
Performance. We all played on PC because it's all it's out on right now. And did you guys run into any like bugs or anything? I didn't.
I can't think of anything.
Everything seemed to work wonderfully.
Anything?
I did.
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. I had one bug.
Oh.
There was a point that we'll get into, I guess, in the spoilers.
Mm.
But I'll talk vaguely about it. I talked to something while I was being chased,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that it was going to screw me over. The thing that continues to chase you while you're in the dialogue box, and I was just spamming A trying to get through this really long dialogue. And I spammed it, I guess, so much that when the dialogue was over, I accidentally talked to it again. So, like, I guess
The classic that we were just talking about.
it was I guess it was a frame perfect trick to
Double frame
to get
perfect.
the dialogue again, even though the thing was on top of me that should have killed me. That was really the only bug that I noticed,
Wow.
and that was nothing game.
Austin over here doing speedrun strats. All right, I'm going to throw on the spoilers tag because we're going to talk about the story a bit. Mox, I feel like
I'm so excited.
you're the best person to start.
I don't know where to start.
So
I know this is a lot to unpack.
it really is a lot to unpack. I feel like the best way is, I guess, the beginning, but
Well, okay, the backdrop is you play as Omori in Headspace, which is, I don't know, Omori's way of coping with trauma in the real world, where you are Sunny, who is, I forget how old he is. But he's moving, and we really don't know why. And then it kind of unfolds that his older sister, Mari, died.
passed away. Yep.
Yes, and I don't like saying passed away. I like
sorry.
saying died.
Sorry.
I don't know what it is. It does, like the finality of death, I think needs to be recognized.
She croaked.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But I'm sorry. Sunny is friends with Kel. Is that it? I'm trying to think. Everybody's name is
Kel.
the same in the real. Yes,
Correct.
Belle, Hero,
Aubrey.
and Aubrey.
and
And
his
Basil.
yeah.
Basil.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of where to start. Well, okay, you're in Headspace. You start in a place called White Space. You don't really know what to do, which is why I thought it was a glitch, because there's nothing to interact with. What do I do?
Yep.
And you have to stab yourself, and that kind of like
Do you do that
resets
in the
the
very
game.
beginning? I think you can go through the door in the beginning.
that's true.
No. You have, wait,
I thought you had to stab
you?
yourself, and then it's the door.
The very
I think so.
Oh, in the very first scene, like when you start the game, you start by stabbing yourself.
Either that, or you stab yourself on like at the end of the tutorial bit.
I think it was at the end of the tutorial bit. I'm pretty sure.
In any case, that was where I thought it was a glitch. I was like, "What the heck do I do?"
Yeah. Same.
But anyway, stabbing yourself kind of like resets.
So the game takes
Go
place in like 3 areas, right? Like three.
Do you count white space and or dark space?
Yeah.
Whatever?
So like that's like
Those
one.
are one. Okay.
That's like one thing, and then you have the real world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the colorful world, which whatever.
That's headspace.
Like the dream
Yeah,
world.
headspace.
Yeah.
So there's headspace, the white space, black space, and then you have the real world.
Technically, white space, black space is part of headspace.
Yeah, I mean,
Just saying.
yeah, but it's very different screens.
It feels
you know?
like segmented.
Yes.
Yeah. There's 2 routes. There's the sunny route or the true route, and then there's also an Omori route. And go ahead.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And it all depends on, at least from what I read.
Mhm.
I think everyone here did the true route, probably, right?
It's the only way
Yeah.
to play. I don't know why anyone would do the other route.
Yeah.
There's some interesting.
I know.
Sorry. There's some interesting stuff in the other route, but this like I don't think anyone for a first playthrough would do the other.
I
route.
also don't think so. I don't think anyone by default, like knowing nothing about the game, would do that route. It could be wrong, but it's possible.
You're in the real world, but it's kind of scary and you're not sure what's going on. There's someone pounding at the door very aggressively. You have to open the door. You don't
Or
know
not
what's
open
behind it. Yes. And so open it, sunny route, keep it closed is like the Omori, but that's the Hikikomori.
Which is
where you-
like a
You
shut in.
stay in your
like a
yeah.
shut in.
Yeah.
An extreme shut in.
Yes, extreme, yeah. If you do the true route, there's 3 like endings you can get. There's like multiple endings in the game, but there's like a good ending, a bad ending, and then there's like a few neutral endings that you can get if you
The neutral endings are pretty bad.
yeah. And if you go the Omori route, you can only get like neutral endings.
I was going to say it's not really, I don't know.
Oh, it's an ending.
I guess.
So let's so backing up, there's 3 days, right?
Yes.
That happen
Before he moves.
Plus the prologue.
plus the prologue. But there's 3 days before he moves, and in each day you experience the headspace, white space, black space, and then also like the real world. So you'll be in the real world. You'll do some things. You'll go to bed, and then when you go to bed, you will go into this white space, black space, headspace area, and then you do some quests there. And the main thing that you're trying to do in the headspace is find your friend Basil, who has gone missing, and no one really knows where they are, or there's not very many like hints or clues, right? So you're kind of just you're getting like little breadcrumbs here and there, in Headspace and you're like trying to find Basil. That's like the big focus of that area. Right,
Well, and
Mox?
he gets taken away. He's there at the very beginning.
True.
I guess in the prologue. And he kind of like disappears in a really creepy way, and you don't know what's wrong with him, if he's even safe, but you assume that he's somewhere and you're trying to find him.
Yeah.
Or hoping, I guess.
And in the real world, things are like quite different. Like Aubrey is not your friend, really. She was, but she's not. Basil is like also like you have kind of like a weird relationship with him. Like he's like kind
Very
of
awkward.
Yeah, and he's like
It's tense.
yeah, and he like is like goes missing at times, and I don't know. It's just like
Hero's gone off to college.
yeah, Hero's gone off to college.
Kel's really the only person who's like kind of
Mari
still your
Mari's not around, who's your older sister, but she's
Whereas
around
in
in the
Headspace, she just runs the picnic where you can heal and save, and she's I don't know,
She's
everywhere.
always shows up exactly
Yes.
when you need her to, and she's just so happy and supportive and just like
amazing.
I love me.
I have healed so many times before Amari's spot, and it like
a room before.
yeah, like Austin, he watched me play the second half. It happened twice when he was watching me, but like before that, it happened more like it probably did total like 5-6 times. And Austin's absolutely right. Like she's always like they did a very good job of spacing those points out in this.
I was
game.
going to say I never healed myself except like in battle to heal myself from stuff that was lost in battle because I was worried I was going to die in battle because I always knew there was going to be Omori somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is like
and
very
anytime you find like a picnic basket and food and Mari's not there, it's just like
sad.
It's like a little tinge of depression. Just like
Yeah.
where is she? Why isn't she here?
So you go through. You're trying to like unpack basically like what's going on in the real world and then how that kind of relates to what's going on in like the Headspace. There's a lot of there's a ton of side content in this game. Mox, did you do like a fat chunk of it, you feel, or?
I didn't do, so I pulled up a wiki to see all the locations. I haven't seen like 3 of these locations.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Okay.
Two of them.
Some of the locations are only in the Hikikomori.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That is true.
But there's like an entire area where there's ghosts around every single area, and you can collect them to send them back to their party. I forgot to go back and do that, but there's an area called Ghost Party.
Yeah, that area is cool.
Yeah,
where you go down this like weird pool of water or well or something to get there. Yeah,
the haunted pool.
Yeah, there's so much back content.
Yeah, and then each day you're doing like some quest line, and what happens is that like during the real world you like overcome a fear, and then when you go to the Headspace, because you've overcame that fear, you can now like proceed in that area. So like maybe you're afraid of spiders, and so like you overcome that fear in the real world. Then when you go to bed and you go to the Headspace, you're able to
like he remembers that he overcame it, and
so you're able to now you can proceed where the spiders were whenever you couldn't before, or you can proceed where the water is because you're not afraid of drowning.
Heights, spiders, and drowning.
Yep. And then that will unlock like, a dungeon type area that you go to, whether it be like a castle or like a junkyard that you have to navigate through, and there's puzzles and all kinds of things. Was there any like, if you guys had to pick like one thing that stood out in the Headspace, what would you say, Mox? Like what was your favorite like little area or thing that stood out?
Sweetheart's Castle.
Sweetheart's
Castle. I enjoyed that whole area.
It
had like Dungeons and Dragons, like, there's so much cuteness to it. And oh my gosh, there was like also cruelty to it. There's a lot of symbolic stuff in that. I enjoyed that area a lot.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the toll road area because I was able to use Hero to charm. So he was like one of the best employees. And Austin was watching me, and like the alligators were charging like just a crazy amount of money to go through. Also, Austin watched me hit like some crazy jackpot on a slot machine.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, you got so much money off of that. I never won a single slot.
Yeah, I won like 20K or something.
What? I didn't even
on your
know.
first spin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, free money. But so I was able to. I was like, oh, what if I change to hero and talk to them? And then I did it, and all the prices are lowered, like it's by a
That's so
significant
funny.
amount.
Wild lot.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
and I just paid money. I just paid like the bare minimum and just went through, like walked right through everything.
Oh my god, I walked through all the way around and fought all the things. Oh, I'm so mad.
Yep, didn't do any of that.
Yeah, Tyler was just like, I'm gonna switch to hero, and I was sitting there. I didn't say anything, but I was sitting there like, there's no way that's gonna work. Tyler's so stupid. Not like actually stupid, but just like, come on, this is like you're being an optimist. They didn't program anything in for that, and every single one gave him a huge discount.
Yeah, like
I was blown
like
away.
more 50% or more, basically. They're like, oh, you're
so
his
fun.
favorite employee or whatever. You're the
Oh my
rock
gosh.
star.
There's so many things that I'm just like looking at the wiki now. There's so many things that Hero can talk to get discounts.
Yeah,
They're just all over.
yeah,
Wow.
it's wild.
And get stuff back.
So you're also like in this world. You're finding these like black letters to do this. I don't remember like
Keys.
why
They're
this.
keys. They're keyboard
keys.
keys.
They are keyboard keys, but I don't remember why the like. I don't remember how this hangman thing starts.
You open your computer in
White space.
the white space, and then that just kind of appears, and they're like, "Oh, hey, look at you've got this menu now." It kind of appears without explanation,
And you have to collect. There's 26 letters, right? Each letter of the alphabet.
Mhm.
And you're playing a game of Hangman where you're trying to spell something, and it spells "Welcome to Black Space," right? I think so
Yes.
at the end.
Yep.
And you have to solve that to get to the ending.
It doesn't let you miss the missable keys that are in the Hangman puzzle, which I like.
Yeah.
There's 3 that you can only get in the other route. Like you can't
Oh.
actually lose Hangman.
Interesting.
In the normal route.
Oh, like you cannot lose. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so there's a lot to this game. We don't have that much time, but let's just go.
I almost don't even want to tell the story.
We don't have to. Let's just go through
But-
the endings at least and discuss those, I think.
Well, should we tell them the spoiler? The ultra spoilers?
This is ultra
Spoiler.
mega
Go ahead.
spoilers, and if you have any interest in playing this game,
Go away.
you should
Yeah, shut it off right now.
definitely go away.
Because
Like,
it ruins it.
this is the whole point of the game, and this is kind of like what makes
So
it.
Mox,
So-
go ahead.
I'll go ahead. So there's something, which I believe is what it's called in the game, following you, which is
Yep.
like kind of like a black, I don't know, exclamation point with little white like eye following you. And you see it like in random places. And then when you look a second time, it's not there and you don't know what this is. But then you also know that Mari died and you see flashbacks of her hanging from a tree. So you assume she killed herself for some reason. And she was also like dating Hero. You learn this as you start to put together Basil's photo book, which had been kind of all the photos have been taken apart because everybody was traumatized and their little friend group broke up. But you don't know really why it broke up. And then you don't know how Basil's involved. And you don't know why Mari hung herself. But then you always have to go up and down stairs that just go on forever and are incredibly scary. But ultimately it comes that Mari, your older sister, learned the piano and you learned the violin, Sunny, and you were going to do a recital, but you playing the violin was not up to Mari's standards and she kept making you, practice more. And so at one point, Sunny threw the violin down the stairs to destroy it. And Mari found him with having thrown the violin down the stairs and she gets mad at him because he threw his violin down. They were supposed to have this perfect performance. She's like pressuring him to be, with
Amazing.
her perfectionism. Yeah. And in anger, Sunny pushes Mari down the stairs.
Clearly
And she,
an
like-
accident, though, right?
I don't know. It was an accident that she got injured. And so at the time, I think Sunny was on his way over. I think he knew that Basil came over. Yeah. I think he was coming over because he knew that Sunny was having a rough time or something like that. But Mari lands like on the violin pieces. And so Basil's there. Sunny and Basil drag Mari to her bed, hoping that she'll wake up. But she's dead at that point. You can like examine her body and it says like, there's no one there or something like that. But they don't want Sunny to look like he killed her.
Yeah.
So they string her up in the tree in the backyard to look like she hung herself. And, you know,
Yep.
and Basil and Sunny are kind of carrying this huge burden of the truth. But it turns out that something is Mari's hair dangling over her open eye as she's hanging in the tree. And, you know, the guilt of that really just overwhelms Sunny. And then he goes into the headspace to kind of like hide the trauma, which I think is in the white and dark space.
Yep.
And he just like kind of stays in headspace to not deal with any of that. But the whole game is like finding Basil, speaking with Basil, and overcoming the.
He's completely traumatized as
Yeah.
well from
They're both.
his part in
Yeah.
it.
And like working together to forgive each other, and then also to own up to what happened to, well, Hero, who loved Mari.
Well, they
and
were
then
together.
also your friend group. Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness.
Dude, the whole sequence of finding, because it's a separate photo
Yep.
book, right? And you finding
Black
each
and
of the
white
photos
photos.
out of order
The photos
Yeah.
of what happened with Mari.
of what happened to
Yeah.
Mari, yeah, which I guess aren't real photos; they're just like your memory. But because obviously Basil's not taking photos of this for
No.
posterity, but finding them out of order, it's like, oh, this is really creepy, and then putting them all together and piecing it of what happened, it was just so brutal. It was so brutal. Oh my god!
It was already brutal trying to think, why would Mari kill herself?
Yes, and that everyone else was super troubled by that as
Yeah.
well.
Like, especially like Aubrey. She was,
Mhm.
it really got to her as well. Yeah.
And like, oh, the tree that she hung herself
Mm.
on, like they cut it down, and there's other references to that. But like, anytime you go into Headspace, you come out of this little tree
Yep.
stump, which is
A
like
reference.
representative of the tree that. Oh god.
Well, and it's so sad because
There's-
their family's moving. You know, I assume they're not doing well because they're trying to get away from the house that's plagued with this awful memory.
Oh, also, you can't go in,
Yeah.
like, I think it was his sister's room or something. Like, you know where the toy box is?
Yes.
Mhm.
That room's like blocked off or something for most of the game.
Until the end, yeah.
Yeah.
So the good ending is that you do your recital with Mari, and after having a big fight with Basil and Omori as well, and then you tell the truth to your friends at the end, like what
In
happened.
the real world.
But you don't ever witness Omori telling. It's kind of implied that Sunny tells the truth, and yeah, that's kind of. And then there's like a karaoke title screen at the end.
Thank God.
The bad ending is if you choose. So Omori kills you. You end up having to fight Omori, like Sunny versus Omori. What?
No. Well, Basil too.
No.
No, that's a
That's-
neutral ending.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the neutral. So
Which
Well, it goes.
I don't know
Sunny
how
and
that's neutral,
Basil
but
and
So
then-
the bad ending-
and Sunny Omori.
you end up fighting Omori. You lose no matter what. But if you choose not to continue, you get the bad ending, which is where you jump out the window, killing yourself
At a hospital
Yep.
after. Yeah.
after.
oh, I thought the bad ending was
So
I thought the bad ending was Omori takes over you and like Sunny is gone.
I think that's part of
and then
jumping
he
out the
kills
window.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But the reason he's in the
okay,
hospital
okay.
is because Sunny and Basil
Basil got into a fight.
Into a fight.
The neutral ending, there's a few things. There's like a few of them. So you go at the end of like the real world day, you go to Basil's house, right? And everyone's there, and Basil's mom is like, Basil doesn't want to come out, and you're like, oh,
It's not his mom.
caretaker.
Yeah, his
Oh,
caretaker. His parents.
Sorry, caretaker. The kid's been through a lot, but
Yeah.
he goes to his room, he's not answering, and it's kind of implied that he's going to kill himself because like they've been talking about suicide quite a bit at this point. And you can choose not to save him. That's one ending. You can also choose to like just leave like as well. That's like kind of different.
Yeah, you can go back to your house.
It's the same.
And-
And
yeah.
you can have like a double suicide, basically like you'll kill yourself as well. And then there's like a silent ending as well where like nothing happens. I don't know. Then yeah, that's kind of it, I think. Right? There's no other endings.
Not really.
If you end up watering the plants from Basil like every day that he has in the headspace, you get like a little extra cutscene. But
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
nothing. What were we gonna say, Austin?
So on the other route, you can only get the neutral endings, but they're like they play out a little bit differently. It's the same outcome.
TLDR is lots of endings.
Lots.
The good ending is definitely the one that you want to go for. And I feel like going in knowing nothing about this game, you will probably get the good ending just by like typically how people. I feel like most people probably got the good ending playing through. Because who's going to be like, no, I don't want to continue. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to turn off the spoiler tag. We'll talk about our personal takes. And I will start. Well, we should end with Mox because I feel like Mox is going to have the most positive to say. So I'll start. I will start off by saying my own personal take of Omori is I will never play this game ever again. It doesn't mean it was a bad game, but the combat was not very fun. It almost like ruined the game for me. Like I really thought. So just a little background. So I was traveling. I didn't have that much time to complete it because when I came back, work was just crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to finish this game. I'm glad I finished it, but it is not. I did not return to it because of the combat. I returned to it because Austin made a comment about how the story is really interesting and that he's really glad that he finished it. And Mox, because you were so into it as well and were excited, I really wanted to play through it.
Oh, thank you.
The dialogue sections are also a bit drawn out at some points. I feel like they are explaining everything, but they just like keep going and going and going and going. And I'm like, I get it. I like we know what's happening. Like you don't have to say these things, but the music is absolutely amazing. Like we mentioned already before, it is wonderful. The art style is beautiful, very unique. The story is something I feel like it's very special and unique for this type of like. It's not every day there's a video game about this topic, basically, and these tones and stuff. I still don't quite understand why everyone on Steam loves this game so much. I guess maybe I'm just missing something, but I will say that it was a good experience, and I think without combat, this game would be great. Like me and Austin were talking a little bit. I'm gonna kind of steal some stuff from you, Austin. I apologize, but. If this game was like one shot where there wasn't any combat, I think it would have been just as like it would have been even better for me personally. Like I would have loved it even more. Overall, for me, it's a 7 out of 10. I think everyone should play it once, but it is not something I don't think I will ever play again. Maybe if there's an Xbox port and it comes to Game Pass and I want to get some achievements or something, maybe. And I might like. Explore around do like more side quest content. We forgot to mention that Mari helps you with side quests as well. She will give you point you in directions and stuff. Anyway,
just we love her so much.
Yeah, Stan Mari for real. But 7 out of 10. I recommend people playing it, but yeah, it might not be your favorite game, but everyone should play it once.
So,
Austin. I
just want to comment on that real quick because you were saying like the super high reviews on Steam. So I think one issue on Steam, it's kind of the same with like Rotten Tomatoes. You can say yes, I recommend it, or no, I don't recommend it. And there's no middle ground, right? So something that is there was a movie that came out that had super high Rotten Tomatoes ratio, and all these an article came out. It was like, this is a great movie that a lot of people like, but also that rating doesn't mean it's like the best movie in the world, so you shouldn't go in expecting that. So yeah, and also the only people who can rate it are people who bought it, which kind of get a general idea of what you're going to be getting into when you buy the game. So anyways, I had my opinion of this game changed from start to finish. And I had like an internal rating in my head while I was playing. And that that started to change pretty drastically in the second half. the music and art were always amazing. Like all of that was really good. The aesthetic, especially in the dream world, looked really great. I love the use of colors. Character moments are really well set up.
Yeah.
Story moments gave me chills, made me laugh, or there were a couple of times that they left me misty-eyed. There was even one point I cried a little bit. I was just like, oh man. It's always a joy to see Mari. I think they set up everything around her character very, very well. Anytime that she's not around when she should be, like, you can really feel that she's not there. Seeing how things have kind of fallen apart in the real world always makes it more painful to go back to the dream world and like everyone's getting along and taking and like really caring for each other. But all the moments are like really well earned. They do a good job of setting up how close everyone is and how much characters are loved, and then like just gutting you with the reveals. So playing the first half, I was ready to give this a 6 out of 10. And then as I started playing the second half and the story started unfolding a bit more, I was like, okay, I'd probably give this like a 7 out of 10. And by the end, like once the story was complete, I was like, okay, 8 out of 10. This was the story carried the heck out of this, along with the game, the visuals and the music, the gameplay. Like just like Tyler, I really did not care for the combat, and I think there could have been a better way. I think that could have been taken out and replaced. You'd have to replace it with something else, right? I think part of what makes you love Mari so much is she's there when you're really needing a heal and a save.
Yep.
Right? So you'd have to put something else in to make her feel necessary and needed. I don't know what that would be, but I think the combat was just like, it was a little too much for me. But the story was just super good. I think, again, like Tyler, I will not ever play this again. I would liken this to Soma. It's a game that I'm glad I played. I probably would not have ever finished it if it weren't for Game Club. And I won't ever play it again. But I'm really glad that I did, because it had a great story that really... Soma could only be told through a video game, I think. This one, I think you could tell in a different way, but having it told through a video game, I think enhanced it. Made it better.
And if it wouldn't have been made into a game, we probably wouldn't have got this sick soundtrack, so...
That too. My goodness.
All right, Mox, take us home.
I just love this game. Oh my gosh, I'm almost speechless. I bought it after Austin said he told me the fact that it was one of the highest rated games ever and he was going to play it eventually. And I thought, okay, well, eventually we'll play it, so I'll just play it. And it was fun and played at the time. So I played it in 20 hours across 2 days and I could not get enough of it. Just like the music is great. It builds. This is like the kind of story media of any kind that you can tell the people that made it planned it from the first minute of the game until the last minute of the game. Every single piece of, clutter, story, character, things that just happen on the side, little flashes of scary things. Every single thing is just, it fits in. It's perfect. It was planned. It all comes together at the end. I would almost not want to play it again just because I don't want to lose the first time you play a game kind of memory of it. But at the same time, I want to play it because there's so much more stuff that you couldn't even think. Like I'm like scrolling through the wiki, all this stuff that I missed. I love all the characters. They have flaws and you don't like parts of them, but you like most of them. I'm not letting you guys hurt Kel. I
high fived him every time.
Thank you. I really liked the combat actually. I'm a sucker for, JRPG turn-based
grinds,
Pokemon style and grinding, yes. But I liked how you could change the emotions and each character had a different response to emotions and what emotions they could inflict, and each boss had different emotions that they did and what they did if they were at certain emotions. And you could really min-max the game that way, which is what I did. gosh, you could get items to change emotion. I just really liked how in depth that was. I felt like it was a very thoughtful combat, system to me. I just can't believe you guys hated it. I don't even understand.
Hey, hate the combat. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I liked the idea of it. I liked some of the ideas that were present there. I just really didn't like playing it. The playing.
I didn't like any of it.
I am smooth brain, small brain, dumb.
It did feel like a puzzle. I enjoyed that. One thing I initially didn't like, it felt kind of, I don't know what the word is, like magical. Like I didn't understand. Everything seemed so random. Like, why is this character attacking Basil? Why did he leave? What is this scary thing that's popping up? Why doesn't Omori smile and everybody's okay with it?
Yeah.
But it all just comes together so perfectly by the end, and it all just makes so much sense, and I really enjoyed that. The story is excellent, but then like the underlying story, and then like the deeper story than that, and uncovering it feels very rewarding. I just enjoyed every aspect of it. The art is beautiful. I really liked the difference between Headspace and the real world. And how the characters are different, like their personalities are different between them, and how that relates to the story as well. Gosh, I think this was just like a very story-based, lore-heavy game that was very self-contained, but it gave you a lot of information and also a lot of closure. And there was references everywhere that were really rewarding to pick up once you had a little piece of information. So I just really enjoyed the game as a whole. I don't even know. I don't have anything else to say.
Give us a score, girl.
I know. I'm trying to think of why I wouldn't. I don't like giving 10s because it's like,
ooh.
I think I want to give it like a 9 out of 10, just if only because it's like a game that I don't want to play again.
Mm-hmm.
But which is not its fault because I enjoyed it so much. But
that's like with any medium though. Like some movies and books are like that. You're like, I'm really glad I read that, but I don't really want to read it again. Or I'm really glad I watched that, but I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah, I don't want to change how it was in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed that I will play it again, if only for whatever the special features are that you teased it there. But I know that it will kind of like change my experience of the first time I played the game, which is sad to me. Which is, I guess, because of how the game was made, it's the game's fault. So that's why it's a 9.
9 out of 10. You heard it here from Mox.
I know.
Well, that was a little dive in our take on Omori. And if you enjoyed hearing us discuss Omori and want to join us for the next Video Game Club episode, stay put, because our vote just ended, and it was between Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, which will be 2 episodes.
I thought you were going to say Breath of the Wild.
Ni no Kuni, Breath of the Wild. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, Detroit Become Human, and Cyberpunk 2077. And it looks like Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch will be our next game. Thank you everyone in Discord who voted. So this is one of those ones where we're going to play up to a point. Me and Austin looked around. We think the halfway point is right around the time you get to this area called Hamelin or Hamelin.
Okay.
That was based on some Let's Plays that we watched, or like we looked and tried to find like what is the halfway point and guides and everything. So hopefully that's roughly the halfway point. But we're going to stop our discussions on the first episode around there. This game it does go on sale. It's, if you have a PlayStation 4 or 5, it's on sale right now for $10. Usually I think it's like $60 or $50. It's been on, I know the physical version right now is on Amazon for like 20 or 30. But there's a lot of different ways and places to play this game. You could also play the PS3 one if you want. I think everyone here will probably be playing the remaster because that was like the most accessible version. But if you want to play the PS3 one, go for it. There's not much, I don't think, that changed besides visuals and things. Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining us. Again, just as a reminder, you can catch us here on twitch.tv/Bombchu TV every 2 weeks at 2 Eastern, with the next stream being on June 19th. Just want to triple check. Yeah, June 19th. And if you can't make the live session, don't worry. You'll be able to find the episode on YouTube and all major podcast services. Austin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And Mox, thank you for not only nominating this game, but also joining us.
Thanks for letting me play it.
Of course. And thank you so much to Andron for helping out behind the scenes. With Andron, all things are possible. I'm Tyler. This was Video Game Club episode 49, Omori, and we're out.